Hi, my name is Dr. Judith Mathews Gallagher. I'm the Dean of Humanities at Tarrant County College in Fort Worth, Texas. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. For little girls in the 1950s, you didn't have a lot of choices. You could be a secretary, you could be a nurse, or you could be a teacher. So, a teacher I would be. I was growing up in Sykeston, so it only seemed logical to come to Southeast. Southeast had long had the reputation of an outstanding teachers' college and continues that today. I think the faculty member, the one who had the greatest influence on me, was Dr. Jenny Cooper. She helped me recognize that I have value, I have an intellect, and I have a purpose. In a single word, studying Shakespeare's tragedies in her class under her influence, I gained confidence. At Southeast, I majored in English. Back then, I thought that I would stay in Southeast Missouri and be a high school English teacher. But we went away for my husband to finish school, came back to Southeast, and I earned my master's. And while working on my master's, had a graduate teaching position. And then I discovered that I wanted to teach at the college level. I did that for many years, and still do, as an adjunct for Texas Wesleyan University in Fort Worth.
Well, this doesn't look like it's changed a lot. I think that is the same tile.
I had lived in Dearmont as a freshman, and then pledged sorority and moved to Greek housing. I was an 80 Pi, and went off and married and taught in Kentucky for a year while John finished school, and then came back to Southeast to work on my master's. And Sherry Schneider, dear friend, was the chief advisor of that unit and had these positions open for resident advisors. And John was just trying to get started in the insurance business, and I was going to grad school, so we were poor, as grad students are. And so this was a great opportunity. We got to live in the dorm. We had a little 2-room apartment. It might have been 350 square feet, but we ate our meals in the dormitory. And I went to school every day, and he went to work. So there were exciting moments, however, because he was one gentleman among 425 women. So he loves to tell the stories about the times that he would walk through the hall, and call a man on the floor and go through, and they would scurry to get out of the way. And one of them would say, "Oh, well, it's only Mr. Gallagher." And he was like, "I'm 25 years old, and it's only Mr. Gallagher," is the comment they make. And so it crushed his ego, something terrible. So I had to always, bolster him up and let him know they really were fond of him, and that, these were gestures of respect they were showing. And he became accustomed to it. It was a good opportunity for me to go to school and for John to launch his career. Mm-hmm. And so we were in that job for 2 years and lived to tell the tale. What would I tell Southeast students today? Oh, I would tell them to immerse themselves in campus life. Through the campus clubs and activities, they'll develop their leadership skills, they'll build organizational abilities, and they will learn something from every person they meet. I would encourage them to absorb all they can, because there will come a day when they'll think back to their time at Southeast. They'll apply something they learned here to each new experience throughout their lives. Be a sponge. But the essence is still here. Just things like the trees and the landscaping. It's still Southeast. It's matured, as some of us have, but it's a very it's that feeling of home when you come back. It's just a few seconds until you're like, oh yes. Receiving the Alumni Merit Award tells me I've begun to accomplish what I was called to do. When I began this journey, I set out to make a difference. I wanted to make a contribution. I wanted to empower others to reach their goals. I wanted to pay it forward for the vote of confidence I received from my parents, from my teachers, and from my family. And this award tells me I'm off to a good start. But I know I have much yet to do.